What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kaiser here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today, because I sure as heck am. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about my trip to Texas that I recently took, which is why I didn't upload last week. But you know how it is. Let's get into it. So, I'm going to be explaining my trip to Texas and basically my thoughts on the whole state in general and stuff like that, because it was quite the experience. Honestly, it was something I'm very not used to going to Texas. It's very different from where I live. I live in Oregon, so it's a lot different than Texas. It's a lot more trees, a lot more stuff, but yeah, let's get into it. So when I got off the plane and I stepped in the Dallas airport, I think that's where we were at. We were in Dallas. It was some airport in Dallas. I got off and we were driving around. The first thing I noticed is like the airport I was at, it was like this brutalist architecture, just like concrete or something. It was ugly. It was an ugly airport. I'm gonna be honest. It was dirty, ugly. But that doesn't like translate to the whole state. Okay, so basically when we were driving around, we got driven out, staying at my friend's place. So we were driving around. It was really flat. Like, it looked like I just loaded up a super flat world in Minecraft. I was thoroughly like wow, like that. I've never seen any place like this. Like, I've been to Vegas. They had mountains there. They had stuff that, like, you know, in Oregon they got mountains everywhere. You can look and you can see mountains in the distance. But this was like, I turned my render distance down and all I could see was void past a certain point. It was like wild. Something I've never experienced before. It kind of looked liminal, honestly, because it was just so flat, so flat. Something I'm not used to, you know? So after we loaded up in our super flat world, we drove to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, or the AT&T Stadium, and it genuinely surprised me because it was freaking massive. It was huge, something I'm not used to at all either, because in Oregon, the only football game I've been doing, I'm not into football at all, but I went to one football game. It was the OSU Beavers game. It was miserable, by the way, miserable. I'll explain it in another video when I rate Oregon. But the Dallas Cowboys Stadium was like super fancy, like luxury, and it blew my mind. Even though like in Vegas is nice, but this stadium was fancy. It was incredible, honestly. And they said they pride themselves in being one of the luxury stadiums or whatever. We took like a tour of it and stuff, so I got to sit where freaking billionaires sit or whatever. I got to sit, what's his name? John Jones, I think. Again, I'm not into football, but I got to sit where John Jones sits, and he like looks over the field and stuff. And then we went all around. We went down to the field. We went up, basically just taking a VIP tour of the whole stadium. And we even got to go see the locker rooms where, like, you know, all the football players are, and they have like their names on them. So I got a picture of Dak Prescott. He's the only Dallas Cowboy that I've heard by name. I don't even know what he looks like, but you know. So it was pretty cool seeing all that. And then after that, I wanted to go see like some anime stores, because I've been following this anime store on Instagram for like years. Since like 2020, I think. It's called Anime Pop Store, and I really wanted to go there, but we weren't like near there at the time. So my dad's friend or whatever, she was driving us around, and she wanted to go like to some other anime stores that were more nearby, and I was like, sure, that's fine. So we went to some, and to be honest, they were crap. They didn't have much. But actually, one thing I wanted to mention was there was a store we went to that had like a clothes rack, almost like a thrift store would have, you know, but it was like filled with body pillows. Yeah, so like basically you could go thrifting for body pillows. I don't know who would want to do that, but you know, if you're in Texas, there's some anime stores that you can thrift for body pillows. Anyways, my dad's friend, she was looking at the body pillows, and she was like, you know, what are these? Like, what are these? She was asking the worker there, like, what are these? And she said they kind of look like sleeping bags, which is something I've never heard before. But honestly, if you want to use your body pillow as a sleeping bag, be my guest. That's kind of lit, honestly. Being inside an anime girl, I don't know. That sounds weird. I'm sorry. To each their own, I guess. If you want to be inside an anime girl, you do you. You pull up to the summer boys camping trip, and instead of a sleeping bag, you pull out your Ganyu body pillow, and you just sit there thinking like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be a warm night tonight. Sit in my cozy sleeping bag. Yeah, might be a little tight, but Okay, I gotta stop. I really gotta stop. Anyways, so then after that, we went to a Texas barbecue area, and oh my gosh, the food was incredible. Texas barbecue, nothing matched it. It was so freaking good. Holy moly, smoked. I had sausage, steak, beef, like everything. Pork chops. I just kind of grabbed the whole menu, honestly. Just like a little bit of each thing on the menu. It was so freaking good. You cannot beat Texas barbecue. And if you say you can and you're from Oregon, then you're just wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you're wrong. No one in Oregon can beat Texas barbecue. I don't know about anywhere else in like the United States. Maybe they can beat Texas barbecue, but nowhere in Oregon you can get anything like it. It was so freaking good. If you're in Texas, definitely get some barbecue there. They're kind of known for that. I feel like the meat in Texas is crazy. Anyways, after that, we went to where we were staying, and then the next thing I noticed as we were driving around Texas, the houses there, or in Dallas, we were driving around Dallas, the houses there were so freaking nice. Everything was nice. It was crazy. And also, around the streets, there was no litter. There was nothing, no trash. It was a clean city. It was luxury. It was like a dream come true. And you know what? When I was there, I was checking on Zillow, and you could get like some of the nicest looking houses for only around $75,000. Like, Texas is crazy. You cannot even imagine that in Oregon. That is a dream come true. Oregon, the baseline of house is like 500K, bro. 500K for like a decent house in Oregon. And then if you want like a good house, like a good suburban house, that's like 800K, bro. Housing in Oregon is horrible. And Texas, you know, even in Oregon, like, all the houses look like crap. Like, they look run down, they look old, they look like crap, and 800K for that. But in Texas, every house looks pristine, clean. They're made out of bricks so the wolf can't blow it down. They're amazing looking, and they're for like 50K. It's crazy. It's actually wild. I don't understand why other states can't do that. Maybe it's like the governor or something. I don't know. I'm not political. Yeah, I'm not political, so I wouldn't know anything about that. But yeah, everywhere in Texas is just beautiful, beautiful and nice. So that was a little bit of a culture shock for me. And we went to this European bakery. You know, it was pretty nice. We got some farina cakes. It is what it is. It was nice. And the house we were staying in even had like a movie theater. That's where we were staying in, actually. Our guest bedroom was literally a movie theater. So if you ever think that Texas houses are like not nice or anything, then you just gotta go there for yourself, because it is crazy. Luxury state. Anyways, after that, day 2, we drove from what, we were in Dallas. We drove all the way to I don't remember. It was like the ocean basically, and that was basically a whole day drive. It was like an 8-hour drive from sun up to sundown basically. It was like, you really don't understand how big Texas is until you go there and you drive around, because holy crap. So yeah, we basically just spent the whole second day driving. We went to San Antonio for a little bit and we checked out the Alamo, but that was about it. It was really freaking hot, so we kind of just stayed in the car in the AC and just drove all day. I was basically sleeping the whole time. It was pretty nice, can't lie. So then we finally arrived at like the second place we were staying, and I kind of got a little bit sick after eating, because I kind of got stomach problems. It is what it is. So I wasn't really feeling too great, but when we pulled up to the house we were staying at over near the beach, it was like weird. Okay, how can I explain this? I got out of the car and it kind of looked like the door was open, right? And so I looked inside and it kind of looked like an old church building, or like an empty room where it was an empty room. The living room was empty. There was like one couch and like a table, and it was off to the side, so you couldn't even see it when you enter. It was like an insane asylum, honestly. And so that's where I was staying for the next few days, I guess. I wasn't really bothered by it or anything. It just kind of caught me off guard that I was going to be staying in like this empty house for the next few days. But it is what it is. So I was chilling. I mean, I got pretty sick, so I was just sleeping for a lot of the time. We were staying there, and then we went to like this big party or something for someone I don't even know. And I wasn't feeling great, so I just kind of sat through it and played Clash Royale. I was dominating, to be honest. And then we decided to go to San Padre Island, which is like this nice resort kind of area in like the beach area of Texas, basically on the tip right next to the border. And so we drove all the way down there, And we spent the evening on the beach, which, to be honest, I'm not a fan of the beach at all. I don't like sand. It gets everywhere. What's that quote? I'm not going to say it. I don't know it. But yeah, sand, it gets everywhere. It's annoying. It scrapes on my skin. It's bad. I hate sand. But the beach, it was nice. Like, it genuinely surprised me how nice it was at the beach. I'm used to Oregon beaches, and it's like you go there and you look like you're in a Silent Hill game. It's all foggy, cold, rainy, and you can see entities off in the distance. But when I go to Texas, you can like look out into the distance, and it's just like these big bubbly clouds that are forming. Oops, I just hit the mic, sorry. Off in the distance, the big bubbly clouds are forming. It looks like a scene out of an anime or something. It was gorgeous. And not to mention the water, it was like warm, like genuinely warm. Okay, I stepped in this little river that was off. It was like a little river, I guess, a creek. I don't know what you'd call it, but it was on the beach. There was like this little river, and I stepped in it, and it was like warm water, like something you would take a bath in. And then the actual ocean was a little bit colder, but it was still warm, and it surprised me because I was sitting there, and and I was honestly just enjoying life, right? Sitting on the beach, I was swimming in the water, just chilling, relaxing. You know how it is. I was expecting to see some Texas baddies walking around the beach, but nah, it was just old people. So that was a little disappointing, but can't be too mad. It seems like a pretty expensive area to live in. So anyway, so we basically just stayed there for a whole night. And then the next day we drove back to home, I guess. And then on our last day, we woke up super freaking early in the morning, and we drove all the way to the Salt Flats. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like this big lake that has a bunch of salt on it or in it, and it's like this big kind of beachy, deserty area. It was kind of interesting. My stomach was freaking killing me because I was so sick, and I was just walking around with like, I was trying to pinch myself because it distracted me from the pain in my stomach. It was kind of miserable for me, and it was blazing hot. Like, it was a scorching day out too, and it was 7 in the morning that we went. So it's 7 in the morning. It's already like 95 degrees outside, and we're just sitting there scorching, baking, and I have to walk, and I'm sick to my stomach. It was pretty miserable for me, I can't even lie, but if you visit Texas, you'll probably won't have the same problem as me. So after that, I basically just slept all day until it was time to fly back. But I mentioned that Texas was way, way bigger than like you can imagine, and it really put into perspective how big it was when we had to fly from where we were staying in Texas to Texas, and it was like another city in Texas, and it was like an hour, 30-minute flight. Keep in mind, it takes a little bit more than that to fly from Portland to LA. So that just goes to show how big Texas was. And it wasn't even like we were flying from one side to the other. It was like from the tip of Texas to like the middle of Texas. That was an hour, 30-minute flight. Then we flew back to Oregon, and now I can finally start making videos again. So if I had to rate Texas, I'd probably give it like a 8 out of 10. If there's anything to take away from this video, if you ever think about going to Texas, I'd recommend visiting like Dallas and stuff. That's pretty cool, pretty sick. Dallas is very clean, very nice, very rich. So yeah, that was my favorite place. Not gonna lie, like I said, I don't like the beach, but if you do like the beach, you'll definitely like Texas beaches. Yeah. That's really about it, though. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm glad to be back, but I'm going to have to say goodbye. So, peace.